Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we are going to be talking about the 3 things that have completely changed my life. They've changed my outlook on life, they've changed my mindset, they've changed my mental health. They have just made my life so much better. And it's crazy when you have these exact things that you can pinpoint. And I think the best thing about all 3 of these things is you can do them. You can do them today, you can start them tomorrow. They cost very little to no money, and you don't need a bunch of free time or anything like that. Like, they're just super, super accessible, I wanna say, to everyone. So I really hope you will enjoy this video. I hope that these tips can help you, and let's get into it. So welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Zoe. I'm 26, I live in Montreal. I work as a content creator and also as a freelancer, and I also have a part-time job in a spin studio, which we're actually gonna be talking about that today. But just wanted to give a little intro to myself. This video is part of my Sunday chat series, which is a series of videos where we just sit down and talk from the heart. They are totally unscripted, unfiltered, and it's just really like from my heart to yours, from my living room to yours, or wherever you are watching this. I just want to send you some love, and I hope you're doing well. It's been so long since I filmed a Sunday chat. I started doing these around the holidays, and I was doing one every week leading up to Christmas. Then they kind of tapered off, and then I just fell off of filming them all together. I'm actually filming on a new camera, and I really hope this video works out because it's a brand new camera. I'm on a Canon where I usually use a Sony. I'm not used to it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting on my living room floor. It has been so long since I've sat down on my living room floor and just like spilled my heart out to you guys. I feel like I've gotten into a weird perfectionist spiral with my videos where I feel like I need to be in my office and have the perfect background and everything has to be perfect, and the lighting and my outfit, and like it's been holding me back from saying and sharing a lot of the things that I want to say. I feel like I have certain thoughts and experiences that I hope can be helpful I can be helpful by sharing them, and then by focusing on perfectionism, it holds me back from sharing these things. So I whipped this new camera out of the box. I sat down on my floor and I was like, we're gonna film this video. And anyways, that's my little ramble about that. I feel like throughout our lives, we grow and we change, and sometimes things get better and sometimes we slip back and things get worse. And it can be hard to pinpoint the things that make things better. At least for me, I feel like it's not always obvious. Like, it's not always easy to say this one thing changed my life for the better. This one thing flipped my mind upside down and I'm so much better off for it. So it's kind of crazy to me that I have 3 things in my pocket today that I want to share with you guys that I'm not even being dramatic when I say they've changed my life. And you're probably like, Zoe, stop talking. Let's just get into it already. But before we can get into it, I want to tell you guys a little bit about where I was at before, because this all leads me into the journey of discovering these 3 things. And it's crazy because they all happened literally at the same time. So going back, let's say about a year ago now, I feel like on paper, everything in my life was really good. I had nothing to complain about. I had so much to be grateful for. I had, amazing friends. Well, I still have amazing friends, cute dog, loving relationship, great apartment, dream job. Like, at this point, I was already doing YouTube as a career, which is crazy. However, something inside of me felt stuck. I felt very depressed. Like, I remember last summer, all summer long, I felt so depressed. I felt very little sense of fulfillment. Even in really happy and beautiful moments, I did not feel right. I felt like I was unbalanced inside. I felt like something was blocking me from feeling truly happy. And just my emotions and my mental health were totally off. I barely wanted to leave the house. I was very, very much at home. The only times when I really left the house were to walk my dog, to go to my boyfriend's house, or to go to my best friend's house. Like, I didn't like going out for anything else other than that. I worked 100% from home. So I was in my house at my desk working alone, because my job as a YouTuber is very alone. Like, I chat with you guys, but when I'm editing a video, I'm by myself. I'm talking to myself. and my job as a freelance copywriter, I have calls from time to time, but they're not very frequent. So everything was very alone. And although I had beautiful friends, and although I had a beautiful relationship, and although, my dog keeps me great company, I felt very lonely. I was really pouring my all into work, yet I never felt any source of comfort when it came to my finances. I always felt like I never was earning enough money. My expenses were very high compared to what I was earning. My spending habits might not have been the best, and I didn't know where my money was going. I was aware of money, and I was definitely on my personal finance journey, but I still had so much anxiety, and I had so much guilt when it came to spending, so much guilt when it came to paying my rent, just feeling like I was not worthy of living where I lived or of having a certain, I felt like whatever, okay. Taking care of myself physically, I never cooked. I hated cleaning up my apartment. I didn't love moving my body. I really struggled with doing any sort of workouts consistently or any sort of movement consistently. I actually still struggle with that. Anyways, that's where I was at about a year ago. I went on a trip to Colombia with my best friend and my boyfriend, and when I came back, I knew I had to make a change. I shed a lot of that heavy weight that I had been carrying around while we were on vacation. We were gone for 2 weeks. And I think just being away from my normal routines at home really opened my eyes to something has to change. So what changed? What changed? Let's talk about it. It's tricky. I'm not sure in which order I want to present these things because they really all happened at the same time pretty much. But I think the one that is the most important that we will start with is human interaction leaving the house. To make a long story short, along with working from home and always working at home, my dog Maggie has very severe separation anxiety, and if I leave her alone, she will bark for as long as I am gone. I'm currently working through a training regimen, and even back then I was working with a trainer. Basically what the trainer said was you cannot leave her alone. If you need to leave her alone, you need to put her with a sitter, you need to have someone watch her, because every time you leave her alone, even if it's just for 10 minutes to run down the street to grab something, you're basically re-traumatizing her separation anxiety. So her separation anxiety kind of led to me having separation anxiety as well, both from her and from my own house. And that paired with, the habits that I developed during COVID of never leaving the house caused me to really, really never leave the house. I didn't take public transit. I didn't go out and about. I didn't see strangers. I really only saw a handful of people who I was closest with. I remember talking about it with my therapist, and she was like, Zoey, you need to pack up your stuff, and if you have to pay for the dog sitter for the day, you pay for the dog sitter and go sit at a cafe and work from a cafe for a day, because it is not healthy for you to sit locked in your house all day. And I was like, but I don't want to pay for that. That's expensive when I can just have a coffee at home and stay home. And the way she framed it to me was, yes, it costs money, but not spending that money and not leaving the house is costing you your mental health. So she taught me to frame leaving the house as medicine, because it's good for you. And I think whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, I honestly don't know which one I would classify myself as, but I think there is something so powerful to us, because we're humans and we're creatures of community. There's something so powerful about going out, just saying hi to the barista, seeing strangers on the bus or in the subway or on the street, feeling like we are a part of the world, a part of the city that we live in, and just a part of a society, I think is so important. So slowly but surely, I started making kind of dates with myself to leave the house. I started leaning on my friends and my boyfriend to help me watch Maggie for an afternoon so that I could go work from a cafe, or so that I could just go for a walk by myself. And those once a week outings helped tremendously. Now, where things really, really changed for me was when I got my part-time job at the spin studio. So again, to make a long story short, this was my student job. I had this job for a couple of years while I was in university, and I just decided, you know what, I miss it, I want it back. I'm very lucky that with what I do for a living, I have the flexibility to choose when I start my day and choose when I end my day. And I thought it would be such a good idea to work the morning shift at this gym. So the morning shift starts around 6 a.m. and it ends when the morning classes end, meaning I could wake up super early, go to work, interact with people, get paid a little bit of money, get a free gym membership, and then leave and start my day. I remember my first day going back on the job. I took the metro to work. It was like 5:30 in the morning and I'm in the metro and I felt so alive. I felt more alive than I'd felt in a long time, honestly, because I just felt like I was a member of society. And I got out of the metro and I was in a different part of town and I'm looking at the buildings and I'm just like, wow, this city is so beautiful. Like, this is why I pay rent to live in Montreal, and this is why I want to live in the city, because I want to be a part of it. I want to be around people. I don't just want to be locked in my house working at my computer all the time and then from my computer to my couch watching Netflix. So that job forced me multiple times a week to get out of the house, and it opened so many doors for me. So along with feeling amazing when I'm taking the metro to work, along with feeling amazing when I'm interacting with the clients in the gym, I made new friends. I made friends with the people that I work with. It forces me further out of the house because now I have a free gym membership, so I want to go take classes. And as silly as it sounds, that part-time job is the best decision that I made. Now, for you guys watching, it might not be feasible for you to go get a part-time job. You might not want to, you might not have time for it. That's okay. The story here is really just to illustrate how important it is to get out of the house, and that can look like so many different things. It can look like going to a coffee shop and just getting a coffee for, $3, $4, $5, $6, whatever that costs you. Stay there for as long as you can, milk that $5, milk that coffee. If you really don't want to spend money, go to the public library. Take public transit or take your car and go somewhere else and go for a walk in a different part of town. Change the scenery for your eyes, maybe say hi to someone new. Small talk is so nice. I know it sounds weird, but small talk with a stranger is just so nice. And so I know that no matter your situation, there are ways that we can find these little outings, these little ways to get out of the house and feel like we're a part of society, no matter what our situation is. I think for some people, COVID ended and we went back to normal straight away. We went back to being our social, outgoing, leaving the house selves. But I think for a lot of us, it really did have this residual effect of being a little bit afraid, being nervous, just being unaccustomed to leaving the house. And if you are still feeling that way, I just want to say there is no shame. There's nothing to be ashamed about. COVID was very difficult. And I want to encourage you to slowly take steps to leaving the house, getting back out there. And I promise you, you will feel so amazing. It's going to change your mindset. It's going to make you feel so good. And it might even change your life. Thing number 2 that really changed my life is waking up early. And I know it's so annoying. It's so annoying. All these people who wake up early, they never want to shut up about it. And you know why they never want to shut up about it is because it makes them feel so good. And they probably want you to feel good too. I want you guys to feel good. To me, waking up early, I've said this before in videos, but when I look back at some of the best times in my life, they were times when I was waking up early. I've had so many fun nights out. I've had so many fun, late nights that go until the sunrise and then you sleep in the next day. But consistently and feeling good consistently day after day, all of those points in my life were when I was waking up early, when I had a nice morning routine, when I was getting out there. Waking up early for me is just so important. I don't want to speak too lightly here, but in some ways, I really feel like waking up early kind of cured my depression. And I'm saying that extremely loosely, okay, because I know that depression isn't just cured, by stopping hitting snooze on your alarm. But in the long run and overall, it really did help. I still have moments where I feel depressed. I still have moments where I feel anxious. I still have moments where I struggle with my mental health, but it has been consistently better since I've been consistently waking up early. And this one goes hand in hand with that part-time job again, because I was struggling so much to wake up early because what did I have to wake up for? I'm gonna go sit at my desk in my apartment all day. And so the part-time job gave me a reason to wake up early. If I were to stop working tomorrow, I would keep waking up early because now it's become a habit of mine and I just know how good it makes me feel. So really the hardest part with waking up early is just getting started. I filmed a whole video about my best tips for waking up early along with some reasons that might be holding you back from waking up early. So I will link that here. You can check it out. I highly recommend it. I hope it will be helpful. A big thing that I struggled with is in moments or days or periods of when I'm feeling anxious, I don't want to get out of bed. I want to avoid the things that are making me anxious. Oftentimes they have to do with work. So I would hide in bed and just not want to wake up, and I would try and sleep the day away in order to avoid the things that were bothering me. This is something I've done since I was like a teenager and I was anxious. I hated going to school because I didn't have any friends. I wanted to sleep in, I wanted to stay, I wanted to hide. I didn't want to go to school. When I was anxious at work because I just didn't feel comfortable, I didn't like my job, you guys know the drill. I wanted to sleep in and hide under my covers. Even to this day, when I have a looming deadline that makes me anxious or whatever it may be, I avoid it and I want to hide. And so having that routine of waking up early, I think helps with anxiety because you're not avoiding those things anymore. You're being forced to wake up and conquer the day and conquer those things that are making you anxious, and it really, really goes a long way. The last thing I want to mention that I love about waking up early is that it helps me feel accomplished kind of no matter what. No matter what else goes on in my day, if I woke up early and just faced that day, like I said, at least I have one thing that I've accomplished. I kind of have this personality of like needing to achieve things and needing to like be productive, feeling anxious if I don't feel I've been productive enough, which is a whole other story. But waking up early helps me feel, okay, I did something today. I got up early, I started my day. It just makes me feel so good. So I really recommend you guys trying out waking up earlier. I really think it can have an amazing impact on your life. Hello. So the third and final thing, I just went and got it, is the cash budget. This one might seem like it's coming out of left field, but honestly, doing a cash budget or just a budget in general, getting a firm control of my finances changed my life so much. I struggle with financial anxiety. I tend to think about money way more than I would like to. I tend to worry about money way more than I like to. And even though I've been making videos about personal finance and working on my budgeting for years now, it wasn't until I got a concrete budget that I really felt in control and I stopped feeling that guilt. And honestly, I think guilt is one of the worst feelings that we can carry around. I mean, if you do something really bad, yes, you should feel guilty. If you hit someone with your car, maybe you should feel guilty. But to feel guilty every time you pay rent, that's not healthy. To feel guilty when you buy your dog's food because you want to get the expensive stuff because you care about her health, at some point you just have to make a decision. And if you're going to make a decision one way and then feel guilty about it after, and you're just constantly chasing yourself around in these circles, it is such a horrible feeling. But when you make a budget and when you assign dollar amounts to certain categories of spending, there's really no room for guilt because you've consciously made a decision. And even if you go over a little bit, it's okay because you still stuck within certain parameters. So I like the cash budgeting system because I have really hard time controlling my spending. So cash sets a hard parameter because when you run out of cash, you're out of cash. When I was spending on credit all the time, it was like tap, 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 tap. At the end of the month, surprise, here's how much you spent. And it's really hard to get control of your finances when, all of your buckets are lumped into one. As you're spending, if there's no way to see where your money's going, it's difficult. So these are my cash envelopes. We've got an envelope for coffee. We have one for dining out. We have groceries. The rest are in my other envelope because these are just the ones that I've been carrying around with me the past 2 days. I set $400 a month for groceries, and when I'm out, I'm out. And as my envelope shrinks throughout the month, when I'm at the grocery store and I'm like, okay, I've got $200 left. There's 2 weeks left in the month. I can't spend $150 on groceries this week, or I'm not gonna have enough for next week. It just helps me make conscious decisions about my spending, and I no longer have to sit around worrying, stewing, feeling guilty about my finances all the time because I have a system that I can lean on. Along with my cash, I also use a digital budget tracker. If you are not into cash, I think the digital budget tracker can help you tremendously as well because it still has you break up your spending into categories. Then it's just up to you to actually stick to those categories and really hold yourself accountable, which I'm not the best at, hence why I use the cash. But if you have a little more self-discipline than me, that might be enough. Money and finances are such a big part of our life. And a lot of the times, you know, on social media and in the movies and everything, it makes it look like money is easy. It makes it look like people are just rich and they have it figured out. And when you want to buy a house, poof, you buy a house. And when you want to buy a designer bag, poof, you buy a designer bag. And that, you know, worrying about money, what's that? Fighting about money, what's that? But that is not the reality for so many people. We have to take it upon ourselves to learn about money because they don't teach it to us in school, and to learn about the ways of spending and managing our money that are right for us. I am still on that journey. I am by no means perfect at it, but when I started, when this kit got delivered to me in October 2022, my life changed because I finally had a system that worked for me. So if you haven't found that budgeting system that works for you yet, please don't give up. I tried so many different things, and finally this was the one that worked. So if cash doesn't work for you, try again. There's so many different tips and tricks out there on the internet. Go down a rabbit hole, have fun, and keep trying until you find a budgeting system that works for you, because when you can get a feeling of control and a feeling of confidence about your money, that is going to translate into the rest of your life, and it's gonna change your life, okay? So those are my 3 things, you guys, that you can do immediately. You can literally start them when you finish this video. You can start doing these things. They don't cost a lot of money. If anything, they're free. And I genuinely believe that they will have a positive impact on your life, that they might change your life, help you change your mindset. And I really hope you give it a try, and I hope that it's helpful. I've got nothing else to say. I think I've said it all. I love you so much, and I hope this video was helpful and entertaining. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. You can let me know in the comments what other types of Sunday chat videos you want. Hope you liked this one. Bye-bye.